Welcome to Reaching Out. I'm Gregory Floyd, President Local 237. Today, our first guest is Councilwoman Reyna from the 34th Council District. Councilwoman, welcome to our show.
Thank you so much, Mr. Floyd. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Your district includes Williamsburg, Brooklyn, and Ridgewood, Queens. What are the key issues facing your constituents?
We have a multitude of concerns, but one of the top priorities I would say that's most affecting our district is the affordable housing. It's a crisis throughout the city.
What can we do in these challenging times?
Well, one of the major points that we're trying to stress to our community right now is the census. You know, as much as we see the census being a far distant action that may not affect us, it has everything to do with resources and the necessary resources that are going to be planned for the next 10 years. If we are able to do an exceptional job in counting every person other than the unborn child, because legally we're not supposed to count the unborn child, we have to make sure that we as elected officials and partnered with civic leaders in our community are joining every opportunity in responding to the census, making the census a top priority, asking people, have you filled out your census? I say this because affordable housing money through HUD, Section 8 vouchers, public housing developments are all going to be highlighted for need through the census. And if only 50% of our population is going to be counted, then only 50% of our work is going to be accomplished.
We could also lose some congressional seats if we don't.
Very much so. One of the examples that I expressed to my constituents is the fact that I was redistricted from a all Brooklyn-based district to Brooklyn, Queens. And that was due to the population shift. And so it is a fact that a census will trigger shifts where you can lose a seat or you can gain a seat.
You were the first Dominican woman elected to our, elected in New York State.
Yes.
And I know that's a great deal of pride and also comes with a great deal of responsibility. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. And my greatest moment was the day I got sworn in and I was able to express to my parents that this was their accomplishment. And they are immigrants from the Dominican Republic, came here in the 60s, and all due to my mother's efforts in seeking greater opportunity. She was a seamstress in the 60s, 70s, up until the 80s in the very neighborhood where I grew up in Williamsburg. And she's been there ever since, working now as a home attendant. My father is a livery driver after having been a business owner of a pizzeria, a Dominican making pizza. It's only in New York. And this is their greatest story, I would say, is their 3 daughters educated in the United States and being able to seek greater opportunities. My father never had boys, and so carrying our name is very important, and I think that I have been able to accomplish that for them.
You serve on some committees in the council. Can you tell us how many committees you serve on and which committees they are?
Absolutely. I chair the Small Business Committee. I am on several committees. I am a member of Finance, Land Use, the Subcommittee on Zoning, Community Development, and Economic Development.
Anything that you can talk to us concretely about?
Manufacturing is no longer what we considered it back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. And what we need to start becoming is changing our behaviors as to how we're going to address the industrial park, seeing the innovation so that we become a city that welcomes new patents, that we can become a city that's going to provide affordable space to produce here in the city of New York. We want to be able to make sure that our small businesses have a place that they can invest in for the next, 20 years, and that they're not looking into being evicted as a small business shifted from one community to the next. It's not as if they own the space. And so that compromises a neighborhood, the quality of local purchasing power.
My many thanks to our guest, Councilwoman Diana Reyna from the 34th Council District. Thank you for joining us for this segment of Reaching Out.
Thank you.